Hello, Intent to Injure, and welcome to the Week 22 podcast. I'm your host, Eric Zaleski. We are back with Mr. Brent Mansfield, and this is about as raw can get. This has been basically a disaster trying to set up this evening. We tried to bring on guest Robbie Wright, the owner of Don't Send Me Any Trade Requests. We couldn't get his mic unmuted. You think that this would be a pretty easy setup, but has not been the case yet. But let's start it off with Brent. How are you doing, buddy?
What is up, League? Good to talk to you guys. I would say see you, but I can only see one member, so it's good to, well, actually I see myself, so that's two. But yeah, here we're back. We're back and ready to roll. It's almost playoffs. Everyone's pumped. Well, like four of us are pumped. And that's about it. But we're back. That's all we got to say. Let's do it.
And I got to say right now, this is going to be probably not as intended. I mean, I'm watching myself talk right now. I don't know if it's my computer. I don't know if it's going to turn out this way. But my words are not matched up with my mouth. Are you seeing that as well?
No, you're pretty good. Okay.
My computer might just be on a delay. It is like a decade old. It's burning up right now.
Okay, now I can see it. Now that you're running on it, I can tell. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. So this may turn out good. It may not.
But who cares, right?
That's really the risk that we run in trying something new. But nonetheless, here we are. Let's start out with kind of the elephant in the room. It's been 6 weeks since our last podcast. And basically, the only way we were going to get another one is if we found some internet invention that enabled us to connect via the interwebs. Because Brent, you basically came up with every excuse in the book over the last 6
weeks. Now this is where it goes wrong. That's completely false. You've canceled several times as well, and that's true. And you have, and you know that.
Now this is what has been going on. You've canceled so many times that you will now like you try to even the score. So what you did, what you did like this past Sunday, you asked me earlier in the week, can we do Sunday? And I was like, that's unlikely. I don't think I can do that. And then Sunday gets here and you're like, why are you canceling on the podcast? Because I never agreed to it, because I thought that there might be an issue going into it. And so that's your way of trying to even the score for you canceling for 6 consecutive weeks.
No, that's not true.
Whatsoever.
That's not true, because there's a couple weeks where you never even intended to do one. I asked you and you said not this week, so I don't want to hear it.
Well, there's certain weeks where I physically don't have time or the flexibility to make it happen.
Okay,
and
all right. Sorry, now you're the only one that has a busy schedule apparently. So don't be saying 6 consecutive weeks was me.
All I'm saying is I never really agreed to a time and said let's cancel it the night out.
So, no, neither did I.
And we should clue in the league on this. I was ready to go last night. To your defense, you never fully committed, but you said it should be able to work. We were getting ready to go. We had a guest lined up who could only do it last night.
Sorry, I have a busy schedule and I physically cannot able to do the podcast.
And so Brent is over there claiming he had to work till midnight out of nowhere. He was giving me no answers to why he had to work, where he had to work, no answers. And it got to the point where you actually threatened to quit the league. Actually, you did the podcast, you said you were quitting. Is that true?
That is true, because that's so disrespectful towards somebody who has traveled through hills, valleys, mountains to do a podcast several times, multiple times. And then you're just going to toss me in the trash like a used water bottle. And it's just such disrespect. And I was going to pick it. I was going to riot. And I was going to leave.
Well,
even though that's probably good. Even though me leaving the league's probably good for these other members, because that's one great team after another that's going to leave. So, but guess what? I'm back, baby, and I'm not going anywhere.
When you're a no-show for 6 weeks, I have the right to say we're going to do this.
You literally admitted it was not 6 straight weeks. You said there was a couple weeks I physically could not do it. Okay, so you said a couple, so that's at least 2. Couples at least 2, right? Am I right?
What I was saying there is
Is
like,
a couple at least 2.
will you
Couple is
listen?
plural. Plural
This is
meaning
not going to work
2
out well
or
if you
more.
continue to talk over me.
Oh, jeez.
We're going to take
You're
turns.
just you're what?
You asked me a question, and I'm here to answer it.
Well, don't beat around the bush.
On those weeks, it was simply a matter of fact of, can you do it Monday? Can you do it Tuesday? If not, I don't have any time the rest of this week. So it was usually early in the week I could do it. You would say, yes, I could. We'd line it up for Monday. You would text me that time, like an hour before, saying, I can't do it. Can we do it on Wednesday? No, I can't do it on Wednesday. And I said this up front. So enough the back and forth, though. We're here. We made it. We're live. We're putting it behind us. We're trying a new thing.
Hey, who mentioned it? Who mentioned it? I'm a man of the future and the present. The past is the past.
So here we are. We're live.
Right.
We are actually live on the internet. I don't know how many people watched our kind of test podcast that I posted to the league homepage earlier in the week. But this actually can be viewed live. We'll get into that a little bit more. I don't think we have
on channel 126 Sirius Network.
In all seriousness, like, I can invite people via Gmail to tune in live to watch this. They don't have to be part of the broadcast. They can simply be watching it. However, our viewership of like 4 people may not be interested in doing that. But if you are interested, certainly let me know, and we can get you set up for a time in the future. You have something you want to say?
Start the game. Sorry.
The F is that. Turn that phone off and vibrate, because that's going to be a major distraction.
You know what? No, you get game updates. I get game updates.
I get game updates. My phone's on silent.
I don't know how to do that.
Respect the podcast. Go into settings and silence your goddamn phone.
Listen, ass. I don't need that.
Let's talk about Lent.
All right.
Let's get into this. You gave up alcohol for Lent. How's that going?
Does everybody? Oh, this is It's quite the accomplishment. Tomorrow will be my 30th day without alcohol. 30. The big 3-0. And if anybody knew me, I'm sure Oviedo can attest to this, but I'm sure he's not going to watch it. And you could probably attest to it. It was good for me. I feel like
You're hitting the proverbial bottle hard. Let's say that.
Yes, that was very hard. So tomorrow's going to be 30, the big 3-0. And I only have 18 more to go after. It's big. It's huge. Feel great. And Easter, I'm going to get plastered. So there's that.
Well, yeah, and I had a couple points to make there. One, I gave up chips for Lent, like potato chips, tortilla chips. I'm now finding myself kind of – I haven't had a chip since the start of Lent, so I'm proud of that.
That's good.
The no meat on Fridays thing is out the window. That's almost impossible to do.
How's that impossible to do?
Because some of us like try. At least I'm trying to eat healthier, so I can't be having McDonald's fillet of fish every Friday.
You don't have to go to your local church fish fry.
I don't want any more fried fish. It's just not good.
There's baked fish there too.
I'm not a baked fish guy.
Okay, there's crab cakes there.
I'm not a crab cake guy.
There's shrimp.
I'm not a shrimp guy. Not a real big seafood guy. So
there's
not
mac
a lot
and
of
cheese.
options. But I am realizing that I'm eating French fries now with every meal, so it's kind of defeating the purpose. I think I need to give them French fries.
You miss out on so much by not going to your local church fish fry. You miss out so much.
I did for years. I used to set up fish fries back in the day when I was a St. Louis de Marillac student.
Well, where's the tradition gone? You should know better.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there.
I know.
But your plans are just to whenever Lent's over, are you back to the old Brent, just drink everything in sight?
That's a little harsh now, don't you think? Act like I'm a damn alcoholic.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, I'm asking, are you going to revert back to the original Brent, or is this going to be like a new and improved, I'm going to drink but not drink as much Brent?
I'm going to try for the latter, but we'll see how it goes.
You're admitting it's going to be tough. It's going to be a struggle.
No, I think the past 30 days I've learned to I've taken up coffee. Coffee is a huge part of my daily life now, and I got to really give it up for the big guy, the big coffee guy. It's great stuff, and it's been my substitute.
And I'm a caffeine guy. I'm a stim guy. you will rarely see me off of stimulants, and if you do, I'm a zombie. Actually, you guys saw that live if you watched the test video. That was me at my lowest. There's probably 10 hours a week that I go without stimulants, and that was kind of the window there. Had a wedding
on Sunday night,
so I was kind of taking it easy the next day.
Was that Sunday night?
Yeah, that was Sunday night when we were doing that.
When you're still hammered from your wedding. When you're still hammered from your wedding.
I did have a few alcoholic beverages, which is nice, but you gotta have a good time.
Hey, I didn't say it's a bad thing. I never said it was a bad thing.
So let's move forward here. Let's get into a little bit of the league talk. Again, it's been so long that we're playing a lot of catch up here. As far as the podcasts are concerned, you've maybe noticed it to this point if you've been watching. We're going to continue to talk about the NHL. We're going to continue to talk about fantasy hockey, but it's going to be split up basically 50-50 with hockey and then what's going on as we've been doing to this point of the podcast and what's going on in people's lives in the league. I personally think that's a lot more interesting. I think that'll get our viewership up about 20%, which is maybe another viewer.
See, the marketing guy now.
So that's something that we're certainly going to look to do, but we will continue to talk about the league. Obviously, at the end of the day, this is a fantasy hockey podcast, and we will deliver fantasy hockey information.
It's our job.
Without further ado, let's
it.
start off with the standings, the playoff race. It's been a tight race.
It's quite the race.
We'll tell you at the top of the leaderboard, nothing has changed.
You're such
a flawless 21-0. He's now 41-3 in the past 2 years. Mr. Talkett's Book Service. You want to talk about an owner? You want to talk about a guy that just has a great feel for his team, a good feel for his players.
Hey, you know what? Talk to us in 4 weeks. I
mean, I don't know what I got to do to get credit around here. I have an 8-game lead.
Win a ship.
And we have all intentions of doing that. So
okay.
I'm not going to spend any more time there. That's the obvious. That's kind of like basically everybody else is playing for second place right now. We understand that. And it's cute. It'll be cute to see you fight for second place, Brent.
Listen, you have as many championships as I do in this league. So, shh.
That's fair. That's a fair comment. Look, I don't back down. I don't back down for the fact that last year should have been a championship. And there's no excuse about it.
We had a lot of injuries. You choked, right? You choked.
We had a lot of injuries, but no excuses.
No excuses. Just the big choke job. That's all.
No excuses. We just played with like 6 players, but no excuses.
Yeah. Listen. You're going to choke again this year.
Time will tell, Brent, but let's jump down into the standings.
You've also before we move on, you've also been noted saying that you're nervous to play me in the playoffs. You have said this.
That's just my way of sweetening you up before I trade rape you.
No. Oh, please. You knew the last trade you made against me was the biggest mistake you could have possibly made because I have the best goaltending in the league by far.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about the trade then. Because I'm sure not a lot of people were clued in on what that deal was, and I will recite it. I traded Jakub Voracek along with T.J. Brody and the Anaheim Ducks goalie tandem of Frederik Andersen and Jonathan Gibson. In return, I received the all-world center from the Philadelphia Flyers, Claude Giroux, the defenseman for the Chicago Blackhawks, Duncan Keith, and goaltender Ryan Miller, who I
wait. The lowly, pathetic Canucks netminder. Look at him; he's speechless out there. He's like, "Oh God, what did I just do?"
Which I flipped Mr. Ryan Miller about 8 hours later in a deal that acquired Peter Mrazek and Jonathan Toews. I threw over Jumbo Joe Thornton as well, who, speak of all world, that guy is an elite player. Even at his old age, he just continues to get the job done. I have nothing but good things to say about Jumbo Joe Thornton. And I'm sure Sam
Was he a good guy in the locker room? He was a good guy in the locker room. It was hard to break the news to him that he was moving. I've talked to Sam Mendelson, who actually dropped Thornton earlier in the year when he wasn't producing. And he was on my team for about a 2-month stretch and had maybe 2 games without a point. He was just on fire. It was hard to see him go. But then again, when you have a team where Jonathan Toews is your number 6 center,
that's the flexibility that you have. And, I'm playing by a different set of rules over here. We've all acknowledged that. But ultimately, the trade for you, you get the Ducks goaltenders, and it is what it is. But we're going to keep things rolling here. Let's talk about the standings. We have a hell of a playoff race. All the minions underneath me just battling. So we have Mr. Kurdot, Mr. Sam Henderson, and Mr. Brent.
Got a big win off Mr. Ott last week. Thank you. He's fallen the past couple of weeks.
13-8.
I know. It's going to be huge. I'm excited.
And then Boss is on the outside looking in. I believe he's at 12-9.
He is.
And let's talk about Jake Boss, because we executed him, basically, in the last podcast that we did.
We tarred and feathered him.
He was killed. And we were telling him to make a deal. That little weasel, that little rat, went out and made
that scum
that I can't even believe people agree to.
What does he say? What does he say?
In particular, he was able to ship off James Van Riemsdyk, who won't play until the beginning of next season. Somehow he got like Drew Doughty or something out of that.
That's unbelievable. I can't believe you let that trade go through either.
Well, look, the reality of the situation is this, and I've been over this before the trade deadline has passed. That being said, if two people agree on a trade and I don't perceive it as collusion and we don't have uproar amongst the league, we have a vote. So if people want to go on and veto it, you guys can cancel the trade yourself. We have not had one, at least to my knowledge, we have not had one vote against a trade this year. So I'm not going to be the guy that does that. If Boss was able to give a hell of a sales pitch, hey, I've given a few in my life. More power to him. Congratulations to him on those pickups. He brought in some big-name players. We were looking over the trades earlier this week. Max Pacioretty, Mark Giordano. He was able to reacquire Drew Doughty. Brought in some big-name players. Made himself a contender again because he did what we said he should do, make some trades. Fact of the matter is he's on the outside looking in.
That's right. And, it's gonna be that way.
And I've said this. I've said this. I play him the last week. I cannot wait to be the team that keeps him out of the postseason. And all you little minions at 13-8 should be thankful that I played him last week.
Dude, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Give you all an opportunity to watch me dominate in the postseason.
I can't wait. I cannot wait until this league's over with, and you're crying about how, I didn't win. And I'm just going to replay this whole conversation and just say, eat it. Eat those words. Look, you deserve them.
Look, and I won't back down from it. If I lose, that'll be the upset of the century. I could not be any more confident. I actually already spent everybody's fantasy money that they gave to me.
Yeah.
Gone. I've spent it. It's my money. This is just kind of a formality that we're going to play it out, but I have all the confidence in the world. And if I don't win, I'll be more stunned than anybody else in this league. I'll own it. There'll probably be a good reason as to why I lost, but
one of your like fourth goalies is injured. Oh, I had injuries. You know who makes injuries excuses? You know who makes injury excuses? Let me tell you,
no excuses.
Let me tell you who makes it. Oh, yeah, that's what you said last year. You said no excuses, and then you came up with the injury excuse. You know who makes up injury excuses? Teams that were beaten and they knew they weren't good enough to win in the first place, and they just use those injuries as an excuse to just not be embarrassed. And
I was playing with 6 men last year, but no excuses. Let's continue to move forward.
Yeah, let's continue to move forward.
Any matchups this week that are noteworthy? I don't have it in front of me, Brent. I figure you do.
I do. There is actually a couple that are very the biggest one is Mendelson versus Ott right now going on.
That's huge. So somebody probably jumps up into second place with that win. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Somebody else is going to be tied with Boss, because I think Boss is set to win this week.
Boss is up currently. He's playing Johnny Zaleski. He is up 57-19 currently, and that that should do it right there. That game's probably already set. He's up by a good 40 points almost. I'm sure Johnny's not setting his lineup at a consistent basis. So I guess we should just give the boss the win right now, right?
Yeah,
would
I mean,
vote
I
for
think
that.
it's safe to say he's going to get his 13th win of the season.
Yeah, he's going to get that 13th win. Currently, it's a very close matchup with Kurt Ott with about a 1.7 lead on Mendelssohn currently. That's anybody's
Wow.
game still. And then the other playoff team, you are playing the Shaha Panthers. You currently have a 16-point lead. And last but not least, myself playing Robbie Wright, and I am currently down 6 points to Wright.
Are you really?
Yeah. And that Galchenyuk, last night I didn't start Gibson. Luckily, he didn't get a win. He still had like 2 points because he made like 35 out of 36 saves, lost in a shootout. Still could have been a couple big points there. I saw this morning that ESPN had Galchenyuk not playing tonight, and I look back, and the guy has a goal and assist tonight. So already.
It sounds like there's a few excuses over there for the man that doesn't.
I'm gonna have a word with ESPN and with their marketing team, and their online team, and we're gonna see how that goes. But it's Tuesday night, down by 6. I don't have many people going tonight. I'll be good.
And is he?
And Justin Falk, I don't know if he's ever gonna play again. Huh?
Is Robbie setting his lineup?
Robbie's not setting his lineup.
So, I mean, that goes to show. If you think that I'm worried about playing you, that's a joke. The fact that you're ever even down to a team not setting their lineup, it's humiliating. This is embarrassing for the league.
Ah, crap, he has Reimer. Oh, he sets his goaltenders, though. That's weird. No, he's setting most of his lineup.
Well, the lineup is just kind of randomly set to begin with. If you don't touch it, there's a chance a lot of your guys still may end up starting.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of his players are starting. I mean, he has Reimer starting tonight. He's playing the Oilers, so there you go. He's already up 1-0.
I have 2 fantasy hockey points I would like to make. One, let's give credit to the Shaha Panthers and Colin Fawcett, the team that was in the basement the last time we did this. He may have had 0 wins. He maybe had 1 win in our last.
No, he had 0. He had 0 wins last time we did this.
So he's up to 5. So he's won. He may be on like a 5-game win streak right now.
He does.
I mean, that's remarkable. That's remarkable.
It is.
I don't even think he's been setting his lineup.
Let me see if he sets his lineup. Well, he's not setting it, but most of the guys are playing though.
Yeah.
He has 12 points tonight too. He has 12 points tonight. I know he's playing you, but I mean, he has 25 points. He's not like he's no. It's thing about it is, I mean, look at his team. It's not even that bad of a team. It's really not.
And now that he has Sidney Crosby going,
yeah,
look out.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say this, which was initially the reason why I brought him up. He beat Kurt Ott last week, and
yeah, I know it's huge.
Kurt had texted me saying he forgot to set his lineup on Sunday, and the Shaha Panthers capitalized, and Kurt might be right. He said that could cost me a playoff spot. With his matchup this week, he could find himself out of a playoff spot.
And he had a good lead on too, because it was you number 1 and him number 2 by far. You two were the top 2, and I didn't play. It was 2 weeks ago I played him, and or no, it was this past week or one of the 2 weeks. But I was like, oh, if I win and he loses, or if I beat him, I'm tied with him. And then I look back and there's 3 people tied up. It's gonna be fun. It's fun.
Absolutely. It's going to be a fun race down the stretch. The other point I wanted to make was about 3 months ago, believe it or not. I think it's probably been about 3 months now. I texted Sam Mendelson offering him a king's ransom for Carey Price. I offered him multiple all-world defensemen in return for Carey Price, knowing he was going to be out. At the time, they were saying for 6 to 8 weeks or something like that.
He should have done that.
And I knew at that point I had the team that was going to be at the top of the list. There was no question about it. When you looked up and down my roster, I was going to continue to win games. So that was some lenience that I thought I had, and I said, I can sit and wait this out and get a nice goaltender in Carey Price coming down the home stretch. He actually said he could not pull the trigger at the time, or else I absolutely would have. And the question right now is, where in the world is Carey Price?
Carey Price, I can guarantee you, will not play one game the rest of this year. I don't know. I'm sure he had surgery. I'm positive he had surgery. That Montreal's the front office saying that there's no surgery needed. It's going to be whatever, like 5 weeks, whatever. It's been 3 months. I mean, it's been almost 4 months now. The guy had to have surgery. I mean, it is what it is.
And they're so far out of a playoff spot.
Yeah, they're not. They're done. Their season's done. They're playing it out.
So
they're not. They are not going to put Carey Price in a meaningless game at the end of this year. I mean,
right.
and I don't blame. I mean, I don't blame them at this point. I mean, can you blame them? But
no, I absolutely understand it. But that's a tough blow for Sam Mendelson, who
yeah, I know.
you wonder at what point he's actually going to drop Carey Price and use that as another roster spot, because that could make all the difference.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a goaltending spot right there. It's not just like a defenseman. That's a goaltending spot.
Right.
And those come up big. I did see this. He picked up the Edmonton netminder Cam Talbot, my retired goaltending. So that shows you his desperate times. And I don't know if you really want Cam Talbot on your roster, the Edmonton netminder, for the playoff run.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Do you have anything else that you want to add in regards to the league at this time?
You know what? I just want to say that it's going to be the next 2 weeks are going to be fun. Good luck to everyone. I'm going to be professional here, unlike my co-host. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to be humbled, even though I know I have a great team. I have a team that is built for the playoffs. I mean, I don't have the best record in the league, but I have a team. Made great deals. Talked with my players. They love the deals I've made. I have their trust. It's going to be fun. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be raising the cup in the next 3 to 4 weeks here. But good luck to everyone. Going to need it.
It's going to be probably a year from now before you hit the 21 win mark, which I'm at right now. So that's exciting to think about. But other than that, we wanted to continue to attempt to get guests on here.
Yeah.
I mentioned the Robbie Wright fail at the start of this. I wanted to hear from him. He's had some interesting trials and tribulations, and
that's a shame we couldn't get him on. It's always fun to listen to what Rob has to say.
Yeah, so that's my goal for next week. Again, we're going to try to keep these a little bit shorter. I understand that people don't necessarily, have a full hour to go through this. So I don't know how long we've been, but I feel like we've kept it relatively short today.
No,
that's going to
no
be
more.
the plan forward. But as playoffs come here, we wanted to continue to bring you content, continue to ramp it up. I had to put it on my shoulders to make an emergency press conference to provide the league with content to kind of bridge the gap between our Week 20 podcast and our Week 26. Or excuse me, wow, that was off. Our Week 15 and our Week 22 or whatever the case was. So hats off to me as commissioner for providing the content.
Such a humbled man.
Other than that, it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. This may be very bad. It may be okay. We'll find out how it goes. Certainly, we'll be interested to hear everybody's feedback on what you liked, what you didn't like, what you think could be better about this. I am going to go back and edit the video so we can have our talk running down the side. That way it makes it a little easier for people to follow. I always kind of like that, just so you know what's coming up. Maybe if there's something you don't really want to hear about and you see something later in the podcast you want to skip to, you're able to do that. Ultimately, we're just trying to pump in a few more viewers here. If we could get 70% of the league to tune in, it would make it worthwhile for us. So that's kind of the game plan moving forward.
Can I just throw one thing in here when looking at Mendelson's roster right now?
Yes.
This is a team in the hunt for a playoff spot. They don't want to do anything with Price. Can I tell you who his 2 starting goalies are tonight?
Who?
Jonas Corpusalo, the Columbus netminder, and Cam Talbot, the Edmonton netminder. Mendelson, wow, that's
crazy to think about. However, that Columbus netminder is going to get a win tonight. I saw they're up 4-1 on Detroit.
It is now 4-3, my friend.
Whoa! Not over yet.
It is not over yet.
But all right, we're gonna sign off here. Hopefully, it's not another 6 weeks. Brent will have excuses probably for the next 2 if I know him well enough.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
now
he's
that
always
we have this means of, this means of communication, we should be able to get it a little more frequently. I know I feel like I sit up here and preach this every week, but that is certainly my best intentions for this league's podcast.
Boss has 61 points already this week.
It's a good hockey team. Again,
29
points have really bolstered his lineup. What can you say?
Wow. All right, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. All right, we'll see.
Well, really just what an ending by Brent there. I mean, way to blow our doors off, buddy, with your concluding thoughts.
I think those are good concluding thoughts. I went over somebody's goaltending situation. I went over somebody's points, how their team's doing. I'm not sitting there over there tooting my horn, Mr. I have 26 wins, but I choke the championship every year. Toot my horn. I don't know what horn you have to toot, but win a ship then talk, buddy.
Again, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
All right, we'll see how it goes.
You can see me. I don't know if you can see me. I'm kind of lounging over here. I got my feet kicked up. I'm lounging. Look, I'm just waiting for the postseason. I've had a playoff spot locked up for like 2 months.
What am I doing? I'm just relaxed, having a good time talking hockey.
You're stressed out over there. You'll probably sleep about 2 hours tonight thinking about how you're going to make the playoffs, and then you'll probably have a daunting matchup against me at some point. You're just hoping you cover the spread of 30.5 points.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll see.
Maybe I'll rig the game. I'll tell you, if I play you, I'll sit a few guys to make it interesting. That'll make it fun. It's no fun to just blow teams out.
Like I said,
we're signing off.
All right, fellas. We will. Good luck this week. What?
Said week 22 podcast in the books.
Books. Good night.
And we'll see you next time, Brent.
Sleep tight. We'll see you next week, buddy.
We'll see you in 6 weeks.
See you, buddy.